We've said this before, but when a yard uh, or when the hardscape like this already has established edges, I can go straight to the string trimmer and not have to use a blade edger every time. I have been in the habit of maintaining this particular yard since I was 12, so I know that the edges are established. I can just jump right in with the string trimmer and just maintain them. While we're on the topic, this is my mom's house. This was my grandparents' house. In my journey of cutting grass, I guess you would probably call that. I don't really call it landscaping because I'm just lawn care. I don't do a lot of landscaping. This was the first one. Me and my brother and I, we were at my grandmother's house a lot of times after school because we went to school less than a mile away. We were at her house after school in the summers, in the evenings, because mom was working two jobs, so we would be with grandma. What wound up happening, just a general idea of being in her house, we had to do chores. One of those chores was to cut the grass, so we learned to cut the grass. We learned to cut the grass well. The neighbor on the other side of the fence to the left there, he asked if we could cut his yard. And then after that, the neighbor on the other side in front of my truck asked if we could cut their yard. My grandmother was like, sure, they can help with your yard, but if you pay them. Granny was about business. So she set us up for the neighbors to pay us to cut their yards. And it kind of ignited a thing in us. We would, in the summertime, we would take the lawnmowers and we would walk around the city and knock on doors. We would walk around the neighborhood, knock on doors, and charge people. This was 91, $10, $15 to cut their yard. I had already mowed this side of the driveway off camera because it's kind of complicated. Something new. I'm taking you guys on a ride today. We're in the backyard. I'm doing trimming around what I know I can't stick my mower into. I wouldn't stick my mower into. Like this section here a compost heap my grandmother had when she was into gardening and things when she was alive. My mom's not so much into gardening in that manner, so she doesn't maintain the compost heap. So now it's just like really healthy soil over there that grows over real quick. There's a hard border on it, so I can't stick my mower in there safely. So I make sure I just go through that with the weed eater. Here is under a tree, and there are a lot of roots and things here. Again, I don't want to stick my mower inside of it. Now I'm trimming along the fence line. The complicated thing about this fence line is that all this overgrowth, this brush and things, it's grown onto our side of the yard from the other side. It has been an ongoing project, an ongoing problem that I've been working on rectifying, but it's a work in progress. It's a lot of work in progress. And again, given that this is my mother's house, it's not one I'm charging for ever. She understands that I have to do this piecemeal. It's not something I can just knock out, just pick a day and knock out, because again, this is not what I do full time. I do have a full-time job that I do as well as lawn care on the side. Sorry about that knocking. The camera is on a chest mount, not anything else, so it's kind of knocking against everything that I touch. While I have the weed eater out, I'm going to go ahead and edge against the house here as well and get everything so I don't have to use it again for the rest of the session I'm here. Turn along the bed there again. Hardscape, I don't want to run over that with my mower, so I'll just edge right next to it. Lastly, I trim around these stanchions here to make sure those are clean. And we're going for another ride. Now we are mounted on the mower itself. I had to turn the volume down because that engine is screaming. That pile you see over there, I'm afraid to go in because at one point there was a hornet's nest in it, and I caught the worst end of that just last year. You can see where it was mildly useful that I did go around those things with this string trimmer, so I don't have to try to stick the mower all the way against the fence. I chose to take the camera for a ride on the mower in this backyard because of how many times I would have had to move it if I did it on the tripod. This backyard has a lot of peculiar or different landscaping elements. My grandmother, before she passed, she planted that garden there in front of us there, you know, with the trees. She had these beds over here all around my entire life. There were trees over there on the left that I just passed. So there are so many things in this backyard to cut around. It would not have been convenient for me or for you guys to see me continually moving the camera around just to get a better focal point. The best focal point that I can come up with, let's go ahead and load the camera right on top of the mower. I'm gonna go ahead and cut around the tree island here to give myself places to turn around as I complete the rest of the backyard. I normally do this first, but again, I had you guys on a ride, so I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, understanding now how loud this mower is that close to the camera. Found a hitchhiker. Let's go ahead and get that guy off of there. Have to be careful right there in that tree again. It's an old tree. There are roots. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this side of the backyard. This is the smaller, compacted side of the backyard. So we'll go ahead and finish this side out. Then we'll go to the open side. As you see, this is one of the very few yards where I get this clean a cut on one pass. And again, given that this is a backyard that no one ever actually sees except for my mother and her dog, that's going to be, she's fine with that being what it is. Still going to stripe it though. Got these two trees here that I gotta get around. Generally get around to the backside, make sure I cut across the entire backside so I can come back around it at one time. Let's get a hold of tree number 2. Just a small patch remains in the backyard now, literally a minute, or less than a minute cutting grass. And now for the start of the show, back on the tripod to cut the front yard. Already edged. Now we just, of course, as ever, do a perimeter of the yard, go around to make sure I have space to turn around where necessary. Luckily for me, my truck is in the front of the house. Her car is under the carport. I have room on the driveway to turn around and plenty of space at the property line to turn around on the other end. But as a general habit, I make a point of doing so. For yards with garden beds, I always cut a second stripe in so I'm not shooting clippings into people's garden beds, because those clippings become grass and wheat in the garden bed, and no one wants to deal with that. Standard double cut. You know, I turn right back over every stripe as soon as I make it and make sure I got them cleaned in real good. A good cut the first time around, and as ever, I always go over a third time once I'm done with that to make sure that everything's clean and my stripes are properly burned in. If this yard looks familiar to you, it's because this is the one on the live video we made with Rake It Till You Make It about 2 weeks prior. That was about a month ago by the time you'll see this, but this is the same yard that I worked with Nick and Hezekiah on. Not a lot to see here, just my standard back and forth fare, making sure everything's cut clean, that every blade of grass sees its mower at least one time. I could not express how thankful I am I bought this mower. When I was compiling the videos here, I realized that it took me approximately 14 minutes to do this double cut down the lawn the first time, and get back to the top and cut it down one more time. All told, 3 passes was 14 minutes. I love this lawnmower. Normally, I would have just cut straight from the bottom back up to the top, but you see where my truck is. I'm working towards the truck today. Why am I backing up? In the interest of maintaining consistent stripes, same direction each time, I have to maintain what I did the first time, so I'm backing up to go forward through that second stripe as I did the first time. You never realize how much more clean a cut could be until you make another pass on it. As you see here, especially going away, you can see how much better it looks just giving it one more pass. It's never good enough for me, but I have to stop where I should. Big shout out to my wife for making me buy that hat. It keeps the sun out of my eyes and off my hair. I appreciate it more than I knew I would before I bought it. As you may have noticed with the backyard, I didn't take before, well, because I treat this as more like a chore, like something I just do and not a job. I didn't take any before pictures, but here's an after or in between picture because I just took it when I was there. And if you saw Luna there and my mom, they are headed back in the house. Sorry for the dead space. I was moving from the camera to where I was going to start blowing, and Luna came outside. I want to make sure you guys saw her. I am blowing the clippings, well, most of them, towards the other side of the front yard on the what we call the bad side of the driveway. The other side is where brush and things that won't look as bad with clippings on them. sit, where the trash cans and everything that, is in and out of the yard goes. And we're winding things down here last few seconds. Want to thank you guys for hanging with me. If you've been here this long, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, anything you see fit. There is an Amazon wish list in my video descriptions if you find on your heart to try to help us out with doing this work we do.